Hello, everybody. It's Jewan with the Okanagan podcast, and we're live on location today with Matthias Urbinski. How are you doing today?
Pretty good, thank you. How are you doing?
Doing great. Matt is a self-proclaimed bodybuilder, social media and marketing expert, guru, I might say. Yeah, he's been doing all my marketing for the last, how many years we know each other now?
What, three and a half, I think now we're going on? Yeah.
3.5 years?
Yeah, something like that.
One thing about Matt is we're talking about lead gen. Matt's number one at lead gen. And what's your best venue?
The gym.
The gym.
Yeah.
And no one's better at picking up leads and networking than Matt at the gym.
Yeah, no, so the moment I got to Kelowna, I just kind of started, I went right into the gym, and it's like surprising like how many, not like only realtors, but how many people within like the marketing community and how many people that you actually find who are, on the same kind of path as you. They just want to kind of build this, successful life, and they want to, find leads for their business. They just want to talk about business. And every single day after my workouts, I always go into the hot tub, and, whether it's another 25-year-old or whether it's a 55-year-old guy who has, this great, base that he's already built for himself and a, really successful company, they're all just in there and they're just kind of, talking about, what's going on, and they're all talking with each other. So the networking community within the gym itself, especially at one as big as the one that I'm going to here in Kelowna, is, second to none.
One thing I gotta agree with is business and the gym is about self-improvement.
Oh, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So businessmen and the gym, they go hand in hand, right? It doesn't matter what kind of workouts you're doing. If you're into running, hiking, going to the gym, or some kind of sports, you're gonna get people that are go-getters, right? Entrepreneurs are gonna be there. And as entrepreneurs, we love to meet people, right? You're in social media, you're in the marketing sphere, right? Everybody needs you, right? As a realtor, we need top-notch people to do the marketing for us to make us look good. You make me look pretty on screen, and I'm gonna reward you for it.
Exactly. Yeah. No. And that's the thing too. It's really easy to kind of go about marketing in a set way. Like everyone has these kind of set schemes that they often follow and everything. But I found a lot of my success kind of came with pursuing things in my own way and kind of finding the trends and everything that picks up. And the way with like social media being the way it is, obviously that's the number one thing right now, is just finding proper way to market yourself on social media, and seeing kind of what hits and what doesn't hit. And if something isn't going to hit, okay, well, how can we retune that to be something that actually will apply, and how it will find the correct audience for what it is that we're creating, right? So
with that one, that's exactly why I hired you in the beginning, right? When you showed me your portfolio, right, from your workout kind of interviews and what would you call those?
Pretty much just, I don't even know what
like those interviews for the hockey and stuff too you had, right? The documentary style videos, right? The documentary style videos you had, the kind of nature tours and stuff you had with the drone footage and everything, right? You really captured what I saw with BCPropertyTalks. I want to be something different, right? Something cutting edge. I want to tell a story, right? I didn't want just pictures of a house and like even like just a quick flyby video or something, right? Just what everyone's doing, right? And I think we hit our objective.
Absolutely, yeah.
People love it, right? People have been loving it from start to finish. Everyone's always loving the videos, and like you and me, just winging it on site.
Exactly, right? Yeah. And that's the thing too. That kind of like, I think that what separates our the content that we create versus other people is like, yeah, like you said, like we like to tell a story. We do things a little bit differently, where it's like someone, when you go on Instagram, you'll see all these like luxury listing, hashtag kitchen reservation, all that stuff. And a lot of the things are just going to be these very atypical, or I shouldn't say atypical, it's very typical and very just standard videos of what people will do, where it's just a constant, oh, let's just do a walkthrough of a house with some nice little music behind it. But we kind of bring this like upbeat attitude where it's like, let's take it through the house, let's do these cool cuts, oh, this is what this could be here, and let's do these animations on screens, things that are eye-catching for people who want to actually view these things, because things become so vanilla after a while that you really kind of just need to have a breath of fresh air in a market as big as the Okanagans as well, right?
Sprinkle some cinnamon in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, especially with our videos, a house is a house. We hit those great, right? When we were in there, let's try something new. We haven't done this, right? But when it comes to a more complex property like a farm, there's a lot of information that we need to convey. We have the buildings, the house, but most importantly, the farm, right? How many times I go to a farm listing and me or the other realtor don't know anything, right? The listing realtor doesn't know where the plantings are, where everything is, what's the age of things, right? And I'm there going blind. It doesn't look good to my clients, right? And what can I say? Like, there's only so much research I can do based off the other person's information. When I'm listing a farm, I want somebody to go in there with a map. All right, the cherries are planted here. What variety is it, right? The grapes are over here. That's how old they are, right? A nice laid out map. The person sees it too, they love it. On top of that, it's telling a story for the seller, right? There's a lot of passion in this property. People have spent like 20 years, 15 years in these properties, working them every day of their life. and I want them to leave with something special, right? Showcases the property, the location, all the best features of it, and nice little, the sun's coming up in there behind the clouds, little cinematography. It makes me feel good selling someone's property. Other realtors appreciate it, and clients appreciate it, and social media in general. I'm getting new leads off of there because people can see the hard work, right?
Exactly,
Other
yeah.
agents on social media that are taking it to the next level, that actually care about the social media, they relate to each other, right? You can tell another good agent, another good professional, by somebody else that cares about the social media. So it puts you in another sphere too. So thanks for helping me level up there.
Yeah, no, and on that note too, like, thank you very much for the opportunity. And like going back to what you said,
I'll go with this one. Like how we met each other is actually a funny story.
Yeah.
Should I start this one?
Yeah, go
so
for
then,
it.
when I started, this is in 2019. 2019, right? I'm at the gym, and I asked a lot of people for help finding a person to do my marketing and videos and stuff too. And I called a couple people, and then Barb at the gym, shout out to Barb. And then I asked her like, hey, I really need someone to do my videos and stuff, take my photos. And then she said, okay, right? And then you and me at the time, I guess I'll let you take this part.
Yeah. So at the time we had one mutual friend who we like you knew him from school. I just knew him because I was I used to play hockey and everything. And I went up to Barb at the gym as well, and I was like, hey, you're looking for, or is like anyone here looking for anyone who does what it is that I do and stuff like that. And at that time, you and I had only met like once mutually at the gym, and it was just like a simple like, hey, how's it going? Like, yeah, have a good workout.
Just okay, a couple good workouts, but besides, I had a couple laughs. I laughed with a friend and stuff. You jump in.
Yeah,
right, nothing too serious. I knew your name. I knew your name.
Yeah, yeah. And then we went to we ended up getting a phone call in because I think you got my number. You gave me a call, and you're like, hey, is this Matt? And then I'm like, yeah, it is. And we just kind of talked. No clue.
So I'll tell you. So Barb told me his name's Matthias, right? Like, call Matthias. He's looking to work. I didn't know it was Matt, right? So I call him really professional. I call very professional, like, hey, what's your resume? What's your criteria? What have you done so far? Like, what are your skill sets? And it's a very professional interview for about 5 minutes, right? And then I kind of recognize the voice, and I'm like, hey, is this Matt? Right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, this is Jewan, right? I think you knew before me, right? And then I realized after, and then I was like, oh, you're hired.
Yeah, and then all the professionalism was just like gone.
All the formality,
hey, what's going on, man?
All the formality out the window.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're hired.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
No, when I saw your portfolio and stuff too, you didn't do too much real estate.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to touch on is and there's actually, it's a really good kind of like learning point as well for like maybe others who were kind of stuck in a situation who were in that, like going into real estate and like trying to find a way into it. I had no backing in it whatsoever. I had no experience in it. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. And I mean, you could definitely see that from like the very first video that we did. Like, obviously there's a lot of things that were like, I don't really know about this. Like, you could obviously tell, and looking, comparing it to now, like it's a night and day difference, right? Like, it's crazy. But when you go back to that, I didn't really have like a grounding in real estate. I had like great portfolio for my own work, for smaller things that I did for clients on their own, just like some commercials and stuff like that, and work with a hockey team or work with different sports teams and things like that. But yeah, real estate is definitely like its own creature. But at the same time, I felt like confident going into it, and I'm like, you know what, like I have confidence in my own skills. I know that I have what it takes to make the leap into this, but like I just kind of need the opportunity for it. And then meeting you and having that connection, which again, the gym, like
great place to meet someone
there. Exactly, yeah. So then I had that opportunity to kind of pursue that, and then never really looked back since, right?
I think the reason that we work together so well is I was starting off, you were starting off, right? And with me, you hit the different vision for myself. I wasn't looking for the typical thing. I didn't want somebody giving me the typical, what do you call the typical videos, right? Just the plain old videos, the vanilla videos.
Yeah.
Right? I wanted you to come in and change the game with me, right? So we both had no experience, right? I've done like probably 4 or 5 deals at the time or something too. So you come in, we completely change up the way we're making these videos. The trailer park video we had over in Karamias as well, right? Hot, right?
Yeah.
We come in there, we see it never the way. Okay, how about I come in this way? How about I step behind this one? Let's hit the drone over here. Let's get it in the backyard over here, or you get a cut of me coming out of the car, right? So just on the spot, come to these little videos, and people fall in love with it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's I'm not like going back to what I said, where you kind of look back at it, then versus now. Like, you look back at those videos, and even at the time, like, and don't get me wrong, the video was like perfect for that time. Like, you crushed it with that video. Like, it was amazing. But it's funny because like you look back at it now, and I mean, I was doing this the other day, and I know you did too. Like when we did the year in review video and everything, amazing. And we looked at it and we're like, wow, like we came a long way with these videos. Like you look back at those videos, we went from, just kind of pulling up to like a trailer park, and now we're at like a, you walk out of a McLaren in a
Yeah,
luxury
yeah.
house, right? So it's kind of like funny, see
And then
how
nice
things,
thing to see your business
progress.
grow and my business grow.
Mhm.
We're both seeing each other grow together and it's working together. And even from there, I knew from day one, real estate was for you,
Mhm.
right? Like if I knew any kind of photography anywhere, like, weddings, all that stuff makes money,
Yeah.
but real estate's gonna be your bread and butter.
Mhm.
I knew from day one. I don't know, did you believe it when I told you?
I was, yeah, no, like I was,
Skeptical?
well, like obviously when we first met and everything, like before we had like a comfortable relationship and all that, like there was a lot of things that were like being proposed, and it's like, yeah, you need, like, this is the way you need to go, this is the way you need to go. I'm like I don't know, like I don't know if I have full confidence in
You're still in
myself. And
school at the time too.
exactly, yeah. And then, like I'm going from there, I was like, like I have all these things that, I've kind of put myself into, and I have school, I have, another job, I have
And were you competing at the
this.
time for bodybuilding? Were you doing anything over
I
there?
was trying to compete at the
You were trying to
time,
compete,
yeah, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
I was, and that as well was taking up a lot of time, and I was, very short strung, obviously, because like everything on a daily basis was the same thing.
And
It's
the
like eating
diet,
the same
the
food,
caloric
exactly,
deficits
yeah,
and stuff, I remember.
exactly, yeah. So like all the energy was super low, and it was really tough to kind of like make a
Yeah.
decision like that. But then finally, like once I kind of came around, I was like, you know what, this is something that I should really be pursuing, because opportunities were presenting themselves to me, and you know, I had I had a great standing at that point after working with you for so long, that it was like, yeah, this is something that I could definitely pursue,
Even at
full
that time,
time.
I remember like I think it was in the caloric deficits and stuff too. Is when I pushed you to make your own social media everywhere else.
Yeah.
When you put out a video, it'd be hot.
Mhm.
When you post on social media, it'd blow up. But then you wouldn't
Mhm.
post for another month or 2 months,
Yeah.
right? You make a
Exactly.
hot video, then not post. And
Yeah.
the funny thing is, there's me hiring you to help me with my social media when you can make your own social media for free, right? Like I'm paying you to help me grow my
Mhm.
following. You can do that for free for yourself, right? And I always kept pushing you, pushing you, pushing you to pump out social media content. And when you started doing it, you're going viral.
Yeah, and
These videos are blowing up.
that's the thing too. Like what I found with myself as well is like the way that I used to view it, and I had a big mindset change and everything. Is I always used to view it as like, okay, like this is my job and everything, and I didn't ever view it as like a, I have this skill where I'm able to actually, I have this expertise to not only promote others, but I can also like promote myself, and I can do these great marketing schemes to try and develop things. And I never really viewed it as that until finally, like, you helped me as well push the decision where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna, take a step back from school. I'm no longer like, I have this many years in school, but I'm just gonna drop out of it. I'm going to, go full time into this, put my effort fully 110% into what I love to do and what my passion is. And then that's kind of when I started to find all that, and everything has kind of started falling right into place. And then I started becoming comfortable with my own abilities, where I was like, you know what, I think it's time for me to start promoting my own media. And then, once I kind of found that niche market for myself, that's really when I took advantage of it. And I found that, that's when I started to actually kind of understand exactly how, an Instagram algorithm works, or how a TikTok algorithm works, and things like that, and how to, you know, properly promote a video and get, like, views on those reels like I did, where you get, upwards of 60,000 videos per reel, right? And things like that. And you reach a market, and then that just slowly but surely generates leads. And the next thing you know, you have 3 realtors calling you the next day being like, hey man, like I saw this, can we, work together and stuff like that, right? So it definitely is something that I don't take for granted, that we had that
No,
little experience,
I just
right?
say this
So
in the life of ours, you are your brand, right? You got to build yourself up,
mm,
right? Because when it comes to the social media, coming off of there, it's not a direct relation. You might not get a lead off of your social media, but when you meet someone in person and they know about you on social media, the trust is there, and that could lead to something,
mm,
right? A friend of a friend, right? Somebody's gonna refer you off here. You might not even know the connections you've built on social media. That's gonna land you a job somewhere else.
mm,
When you're an entrepreneur, we're full-time entrepreneurs. We need to feed ourselves every day. We're not getting a paycheck, right? So whether it comes to social media, billboard advertising, cold calling, going to the gym and meeting people, right? All these activities, we need to be doing a consistent basis, right? I don't care if I have 10, 20 leads right now, right? I need to prepare for future, right? I got to make sure next month I can eat. I might have a lot of leads right now, but I might not next month. So you can't just stop the marketing and the lead generation when you have enough to eat right now.
mm,
Entrepreneurship is a lifetime thing, right? A
exactly.
year later, you're getting that relationship ready for a year from now, 2 years from now. You don't know where it is, so you always got to be lead generation.
Mhm.
You got to have
And
balls in the air.
that's the thing too. Like it's all about consistency as well, and that's a big thing that I've discovered is like a big downfall is for others is random marketing. Like you just can't be going one day posting here, and then 3 months you don't go, and then you post another one like, oh, here's a highlight of work. You can't do that. Like, consistency is key. And when you have a following of however much that you do on any social media platform, or you have people who rely on you to, provide them with information, or you're a professional of any kind, the random marketing is the downfall of any small business or of any business in general. Like, you take a look at all these big, larger, corporations, their media team, it's all day, every day that they're on these platforms, right?
They're winning.
And exactly, yeah. And that's why they do so good for things like that. And it shouldn't be any difference for a small business. And when you look at it, like, yeah, obviously, like, the income, the smaller revenue that you make, it's not going to be as big as these corporations, obviously. But if you ever want to achieve something that's that scalable for yourself, the best way to achieve scalable growth is, very first off, just consistency and proper marketing to actually expand your network with others.
And that's why it might scare you at first, but like, just how kids cheat in school, you can cheat here, right? You can schedule posts, right? Every Sunday, today's Sunday that we're making this podcast, I'm going to film the content for the week, right? If I'm feeling good, I got extra time, I'll film for 2-3 weeks, right? This podcast, this should last us a month of content, right? Like, these are little cheats that you can do, right? Every Monday I have my motivational posts. I have them built out already, right? I have them scheduled. They're already going to go up there, right? I have my content ready to go. I use ChatGPT as well. Shout out ChatGPT. This thing is game changing, right? Game changing. The hashtags and everything else, right? I run up a quick little post out of there, and then I make it myself, right? So I put the tips and tricks out of there, top 3 things to do this, right? Get the post out of there, tweak it around a little bit, and good to go, right? This day and age, it's game changing. You're not a creative person, it doesn't matter, right? If you want to make money, like, you want to be successful, you have to do marketing.
Exactly.
I don't care if you don't like it. You want to be on screen, too bad. You know what I mean? You put yourself on screen. And I wasn't comfortable being on screen in the beginning too. I was just filming myself talking about properties before I did any deals. I had no knowledge or experience, and I was just putting myself up there. People are like, why are you doing that? You don't even know anything, right? And slowly but surely, people were like, hey, let me call this guy to do a deal, right? And then I got experience, right? So it's like the chicken or the egg. What came first, right? You can't get the experience, right, if you have no leads, right? But people want you to have all this experience before you even start, right? So, get on there. It's not even fake flexing, right? Talk about the market. You can talk about, I tell you this all the time. This is a great story, right? How many times I told you where you can't think of content, right? Talk about new cameras, right? Talk about how you shoot stuff, right? Behind the scenes of you shooting me.
Well, and
everything's content, like everything.
And this is the thing too now, like, and going back to what you said with ChatGPT, like, there's, whenever, like, I find now as well, like, I can't brainstorm an idea and I can't think of what to do for, a certain video, or I can't think of anything, right, for my own marketing. It happens to everyone, where you just kind of reach this little cold stretch.
Brain fog.
Yeah, exactly. And then, but there's so many tools out there now which should allow you to, like, find this creative path for yourself. And for someone, if someone can't actually find it, there's obviously some sort of excuse that's being made up, because there's so many tools now that you can find a creative path.
Reach out to me. Reach out to me. I'm happy to brainstorm any day. I'm sure Matt is too. We're always happy to give our knowledge. We don't keep secret.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, no, but yeah, there's so many different creative ways that you could find, ways to make videos, ways to market yourself. And there's so many tools, like ChatGPT is one of them. There's other AI tools that literally will build logos for you if you can't find a way to properly, promote your business with the correct logo. There's things that will, make Excel sheets for you. There's all these different things that apply to every single field of work, and there's always a way around it now, especially with all the tools that we have online. It's ridiculous the amount of help that you can find just simply from that. It's literally like an assistant for free at your fingertips.
A good point that I want to make is, don't start perfect, right? People, how many ideas and podcasts and everything else don't even start because people want perfection, right? I'm not going to say this person's name. He knows who he is. Right? He didn't start a podcast because he was worried he'd run out of content. The podcast never started because he was worried he'd run out of content. Well, now where you're still at 0, right? But if you started that, went to 1, went to 2, somebody else calls on, it's going to go somewhere, right? In the beginning, me just posting videos, raw videos of me talking, right? I'd go one take, 20 to 30 seconds. My phone, you'd see like 30, 40 misfires, right? Like, didn't work out well, right? It was me talking and stuff, and people liked it. Slowly, I started putting words on there. Right? Slowly I started using CapCut. Now I'm using CapCut to mix and match and stuff, and it's so much fun. It's getting cool, right? And even in CapCut, my first videos, they're terrible, right? The words and the animations, are so bad, right? Now I'm learning how to do things, put stuff on screen with it, right? Put another video in there and stuff as well. I'm getting a much more experienced in it, and the quality is going up. But to see the growth, I think consumers like that as well, right? For you to grow with someone. So first of all, you're not even going to get anywhere if you're trying to be perfect. And second of all, you're going to run out of content if you just come up with the perfect content, right? So if you start in the beginning with that raw stuff, and people see the growth, right? People connect with you as well.
Yeah, no, I fully agree as well, and having that kind of goes back to what I said, right? Like scalable business as well, where you have that constant growth, and like you said, when people are looking for perfection, I mean, nobody's perfect. Like
Okay.
it's impossible to be perfect. There's always things that you can improve on. There's
We
always
always
things to
think about
work
it
on,
after
and
and stuff too.
exactly,
And
yeah.
predicted, we posted the video, right? And it was the wrong house highlighted.
Oh yeah. Oh god. Yeah.
So like we do all our corrections, we do all our post editing, right? And then we post on social media. We sent it out there, sent the video, blasted it out. And it was a week later. It was a week later. I'm watching the video again for some reason, and I'm like, "Hey, Matt, like,
I think this is the wrong house.
we shot the video of the right house, right? But you highlighted the wrong house with a drone."
Yeah.
I laughed so hard.
It's hilarious.
Mistakes happen.
Exactly. Yeah. No, and it happens to everyone too. But the thing too is like when some mistakes happen, and you have these downfalls in your business, it's a normal thing to have. There's always going to be ups and downs, rocky roads. It's a normal thing to happen. But so many people get really discouraged by those things happening, right? And it's just like, okay, so I messed up today, and this is what they think of me now. It's not going to go away. I think I'm just going to back down from this. But like, it's just regular part of business and entrepreneurship, marketing, whatever it is, especially real estate. Like, there's going to be those hard times, those failures, but that's the only way that you're actually ever going to be able to achieve that success that you kind of want to see, or achieve the position that you want to get to.
And one reason you're going to blow up in this industry too, you take constructive criticism, right? There's no filter. You say what you want to say, I say what I want to say, and we keep going forward. We're not worried about feelings, no nothing. We're just saying what needs to be said, and we're getting the work done, right? I know some people, you give them some criticism, and they turn off. They're not receptive to it. They're not responding to you, or they're making excuses or something too. It's, oh, hey, I messed that up. Next time I'll get it better.
Yeah.
Right? You take it the right way. Yeah, you're gonna be a little bit worried. You're thinking it over and stuff too. That's normal, right? But not to listen to the person and to make excuses for it or blame someone else, it's not gonna get you ahead, because then you're taking responsibility off yourself, right? Me, if my assistant, somebody else makes a mistake, you make a mistake, right? My realtors make a mistake, I'm gonna own up to it, right? What can I change to converse better with them, to get my point across better to them? What checklist can I make better? Right before we go to shootings and stuff too, I got to make sure I send you the address, a little bit of details about the property and stuff too. And honestly, like, it's not good to script it when it comes to you and me. It's better if we wing it. But for the most part, we got to have some kind of general sense. The time that we're going there, we got to communicate with the time and everything too, right? And I don't know.
Yeah, it's all it's your due diligence that you have to do. Everyone has their own due diligence, especially when it comes to real estate or any video that needs to happen. There's two sides to each party, right? Like, so you'll be doing your things and I'll be doing my things, and everyone has to do their own due diligence to actually make sure things run smoothly. And that's where it kind of comes into play, where like there's a constructive criticism side, because if you're one of those people who doesn't take the time to do their own due diligence, and if that other party is going to be criticizing you for it and you can't properly take it and you're going to be making excuses, like the amount of, I'll kind of relate it back to this, like the amount of photographers as well who don't realize like how great they have it when they're working with a realtor, because it is a hard, I'll actually do this in another point as well, but it is a hard industry to find yourself a regular client, or it's a hard industry to just get a good grounding on. But a lot of photographers and videographers, marketers don't realize how good they have it, and they take advantage of the fact that, they have someone. So when you're showing up late to a listing, like 30 minutes later, you're showing up 45 minutes late, and you're, making that realtor wait around who has their own company, or the realtor, for example, is doing the same to you. It's something that goes both ways. And if there's going to be no, communication on that point, or if there's going to be no due diligence, like I've been touching on here, from either party, then it comes to a point where like what's going on here. So that's kind of where
with us too, like, we grew our business together. I trust your work ethic. The product speaks for itself. As I'm growing my real estate business, I'm referring you out all the time. I'm always bringing up in a conversation. Doesn't matter what table I'm at, I'm bringing you up in the conversation, right? Now that I joined Stonehaus Realty, right, right away they said, who's the guy in Kelowna? Matt Urbinski is the guy in Kelowna, right? And then you jump into this opportunity, and from this one, I don't want to say too much. I'll let you take it over. Boom, 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 right? Out of nowhere, you got a bunch of consistent realtors coming in. I don't have listings come out every week. I don't have work every day, right? For now, you'd have other people too to fill in those gaps and stuff, to have a full month schedule, a full week schedule, right? You got money coming in consistently now. Slowly, like, you don't have to work a job anymore.
Yeah, and that's kind of where that thing comes in that I was saying, where it's something you shouldn't take for granted. So obviously I got I'm not gonna say lucky, but like obviously I had, my opportunity with you to start out, and that's kind of what gave me my grounding. So, when you, I'm actually gonna use this part. I'm gonna use this
Yeah.
for a video here. So when you have your original start in photography, videography, whatever it is for your content creation and marketing, it seems damn near impossible to actually break into the industry and get yourself a good grounding. It is ridiculously hard in order to do that, and to continue to have yourself regular clients, to continue to make new clients, and lead generation itself, even for licensees who understand that generating leads, it's ridiculously hard to do. But when you get them and keep them, that is a job of its own. And in order to do that, you have to understand that it is a very hard mission to accomplish. And what I found, especially with you, is, I had my opportunity and I took advantage of it. I stayed committed to it. And even when things were, a little bit slower, and there'd be like, a dry spell of 3-4 months, it's like, hey, where's this going? It's like, you still stay committed to it. You do your own
And boom,
work.
5 listings out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then things start to come, and you kind of stay
Yeah.
committed to it. Yeah. And then out of nowhere, it's like, like 4 or 5 week listings in a week. And it's like, holy crap, where did this come from?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like more opportunities. And then because you're staying so committed to like your craft, and you're working so closely with this person, you're doing your work for them. Then when they have an opportunity come up, like you did with Stonehaus, for example, or like with you did with your brokerages that you moved on with, it's an opportunity that also applies to me, because then your connections start to reach out to the people that you're working with, and then from there you just start to kind of have the ball rolling. Everything kind of snowballs, and that's also why I say why a lot of people who are in the field that I am take what they have for granted, because a lot of them will show up late for work for what they need to do for listings,
And they're not
for any
improving.
shoots. Exactly. Yeah, and they're
not
staying
improving.
very
Yeah.
very the same. That's all just like their consistency is just average consistency.
No,
what
when
I
you
mean?
brought in the mapping, right?
Mhm.
In the beginning, like, my budget was lower too. I didn't have that much experience, right? That much money to play with, right?
Mhm.
I didn't need the mapping back then. You didn't know much either. And then now we got the Kelowna market. You and me started in Asuyas. We came to Kelowna together, right? You moved over here too,
Yeah.
right? And then in the hot market, my budget increased, right? And then we started talking. Davron brought it up with you as well, some new techniques and new skills and stuff. And then you brought the mapping and the floor mapping, the 3D scanning of the houses and stuff too. And now we add that to our repertoire as well, right? Some more skills for us to have in there.
Yeah, exactly. And so like, especially with me, what I found too is having, before I wanted to get anything into mapping, and I think a big reason why it took so long is because I really wanted to understand and have a good hold on photography and videography, and being able to excel in those things and be the best that I could possibly be before expanding on and throwing in all these new services.
And
right?
even the ROI.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, tell us the cost. Tell the people the cost of some of this equipment that you're buying.
Yeah. So essentially, it's like so you'll find a camera that's going to be typically, for like a high quality DSLR mirrorless camera, you're paying like $6,000 for some of these crazy top of the line ones. I mean, you could probably get away with like $500-$600 one, but the product of the quality of your product isn't going to be as great as other people. So it definitely is an investment that you need to make on yourself, and that you need to make in your equipment, because at the end of the day, it is a business. Even though it could be like a sole proprietorship that you're doing, it's an investment in your own business, and that's something that you need to take into consideration when doing it. So like, how much money am I actually willing to put into this? And when you're like I was, when you want to chase this passion and you want to make it your job, and you have this drive to do it, the investment that you're going to put into it, that you're willing to put in, is going to be much greater than what a lot of people would. So yeah,
The thing is, when you're investing this much in your equipment, don't be like mad and leave it on site.
Yeah, God, no. Yeah, no, but like I said, yeah,
I think like 2 or 3 times where you left a camera.
I put a lot of money into it, and I have left cameras on site. I've left microphones, lights. I've probably left everything.
I'll say there's twice I left a drone on the back of my truck, and
drove away.
I drove away, right? And oh my God, like 5 minutes later, it hits me like the drone was still over there. I retraced my steps, and my head's like, that turn was a big one.
Yeah.
I'm like, that turn over this corner of this street was a big one, right? I go back there, and there's my drone.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, no, it's.
But your heart sinks. Your heart.
Oh
sinks.
yeah, no, you lose your mind. Well, like when you, because this equipment's so expensive, put so much money into it. And you're like, oh, fuck, yeah, and then No,
I had a drone die on me, right? And I was like, I should have brought it back earlier. I knew the battery's low. I was getting some great shots. Sun's coming down. I'm running out of time, right? And I'm flying back. battery dies.
Mhm.
But it still like goes to sender, right? And then I saw the last location when I like went away,
Mhm.
and oh my god, I think an hour I'm walking around, particularly these side streets, looking for my drone,
Mhm.
right? Asking anybody, can you see anything, right? Going to that little area that I was in before, and finally some kids like come running out, and they're like, "Oh my god, are you looking for something?" Right?
Mhm.
And it fell on top of their roof, right? And like these kids but like I've spent an hour there stressing, walking around to look for this thing. They finally get me and they give me back the drone,
Yeah.
and I went back like 2 weeks later and gave both the kids like a nice little gift and stuff too. Like
Yeah.
that, if I lost that drone in the beginning, right? Even now it'd suck, but now I have some more money to spend.
Mhm.
In the beginning, like every
Oh yeah.
$100 was
It
it,
matters. Yeah.
right? Like
Every dollar, even. Yeah.
your
Exactly.
gas bills, food, rent, right? Everything. Like you're barely getting by as an
Mhm.
entrepreneur, right? Like you're
Exactly.
living paycheck to paycheck, right?
Mhm.
When you get that one listing, like you get a video from me, you don't know when the next one's coming,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing, like building, your clients and all that stuff too. That's where it comes in. But yeah, it's definitely something that, yeah, don't take for granted. But on that, on that point of the drone crash and everything, I've actually had a point as well where the amount of times, like, you were there for him too, like flying the drone like right underneath the power line.
Oh shit, can you carry me? Yeah,
You
yeah.
don't even like,
You lived right up. I'm like,
yeah, and you don't
yeah,
even know where the
yeah,
power line is. And
yeah.
I got lucky a couple times because like I won't even be looking at where the drone is in the sky. I'll just be like flying it backwards, getting these really cool shots. I really hope I still have a video that we might be able to use for it,
Yeah.
but like you fly the drone backwards and then you kind of see in the video, it's just like power line comes out of nowhere and you look like, oh my God. And this, like, next thing you know, if that happens, they're getting like a fine or something like that. Or
Oh,
like the
even
drone's
worse,
broken.
even
Yeah,
worse. Someone gets hurt
exactly.
or something too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Be careful.